Hi, it's Bumbleberry. I'm going to try to get some of the other endings for Seduce Me. I'm just going to kind of see what I end up with. This time our name's going to be Mika. Oh, yes. Whoops. And there we go. Trinity Corporation.
Bah, fine.
Me and you both, Naomi. I guess let's get Naomi. I'll have what Naomi's having too. Tuna sandwich seems pretty good right now anyway. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Okay, it really bugs me when people do what Suzu's doing, like putting their feet up on the table.
Is there anything we want to talk about? Bored already? I know. Let's talk about... Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again. Aw, why not? What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon. We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend? Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Some of this I'm watching because
Hey!
I don't remember it, but that's
No
so mean.
offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants. Or girlfriend? She can be a lesbian if she wants. True.
That's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend. Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
Well, there is no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with. I sound so sassy. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there are not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. I understand. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafe started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss
Naomi's
Anderson,
interested.
please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Oh my. Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have...
Yes, I know. I know everyone's come to get me. My grandfather has died. Sadness, endless sadness. Naomi's right. You should be less
come on! See? She knows about proper public taste. I know how to be a lady.
I feel so bad. I feel like I'm ditching her. Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. Life seemed to keep testing me. Let's go see what we can do. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Or reapplying a bruise. How do you reapply a bruise? So Daddy's curious. But, oh, kissing. Let me meet the boys. Just ask for an apology. Oh, we got a heartbeat. Be calm. Yes. Oh, I'll keep
But
it.
it looks so creepy.
Sure. Be cool.
Yes, I am known for
Oh
that.
my gosh, Eric, I can't even look at you anymore. Oh, I'm calm. And then I didn't laugh. Okay, I got blue and somebody is red. I couldn't hold my laughter in anymore. As I laughed, Matthew and Sam looked my way, faces stuffed.
Is something funny? What are you laughing at?
I stopped to catch my breath. I leaned over the table and took a few breaths before replying. You both are so funny. Oh, wait. So that was that I did the wrong thing. Whatever. It's fine. They're visitors.
Then why did one of them open the door?
I don't know. I'm gonna, you know what? I think Naomi, I can get her ending pretty quickly.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm sure these guys will be able to work everything out. Oh my gosh, if I was them, I'd be so mad.
Thank you for trusting us, miss.
I'll get you next time, James.
We'll have everything done for you by the time you return home.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, we'll wait here while you go get your things.
I was strangely relieved to know that everything was going to be okay while I was gone from the house. I trusted the guys enough to do everything they could for this house party, so my mind focused itself on hanging out with my friends. Eventually, I was out the door, walking towards Naomi's car with Naomi and Suzu. Suzu grabbed the entire back seat as I took the passenger side. Naomi started the car and drove off towards the city. It was nice driving out with my friends. After all that had happened, it was good to just go out and forget my troubles.
Well, since we got you out of the house, we might as well go to the mall and walk around a bit. We did just eat breakfast after all.
Yeah, that was a good meal, though.
Could have had more flavor, in my opinion.
Suzu, you eat chili peppers when you're bored. Everything you eat always needs more flavor.
Hey! You need to teach me, Suzu? If I'm going for Naomi, I still can't get over that, Suzu.
You never eat spicy things, Anderson. You don't know how it feels.
Anyways, after the mall, what do you want to do? We could go to the Pink Lady Cafe and chill out with Kay. I'm sure she'd love the company.
But we have to stop by the arcade. They have this new game out called Orion. You get to control this guy named Isaku, and you're part of the rebel forces, and you get to shoot things, and there's robots, and...
Sheesh, we get it, Suzu, we get it. We'll go to the arcade.
How are you even friends? Which one first, though? You know how popular Kay is. She'll be swamped with customers later in the day.
I'd rather go in the late afternoon. She has better options during the last hour of the cafe.
So basically after the arcade?
You figured me out so quickly, Patterson.
What did I tell you about using my last name?
Well, let's go to the cafe. We hit the mall and walked around a bit as we planned, before driving over to the Pink Lady Cafe. It was a small home-style cafe with a lot of pink. When I say a lot of pink, I mean a lot of pink. The cafe was crowded, but we definitely caught Kay's attention as we walked in.
Hey girls, hey! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you! Have a seat, I'll be with you in a minute, okay?
And there she is, as busy as usual.
Told you we should have gone to the arcade first.
Sorry, Suzu. Naomi glared at Suzu before leading us to a table to sit at. Suzu sat across from me and Naomi sat to my side. Kay sat into the empty fourth seat with a smile.
So, how's everything been?
Crazy?
Life's always crazy with you. But I can tell Suzu's not happy to be here. That kind of breaks my heart, you know.
Suzu smirked and gently punched Kay in the shoulder, making Kay laugh. Naomi and I chuckled at the sight. Kay and Suzu were like sisters, wild and crazy. However, Kay didn't have any known relatives, so it was always nice to see her connect with Suzu.
How about you, Naomi? Have you figured out your problems?
No, and now's not the time to talk about them, Kay.
Problems?
Naomi keeping secrets
Got a crush
from
on
us?
me, girl?
That's a first.
She holds more than secrets, I'll tell you that much.
What does that mean?
You guys!
Don't worry about it, Naomi. You can tell us in your own time. Naomi stared at me briefly before smiling in relief and happiness. Oh my gosh, I'm like
Thanks.
blushing. Kay giggled as Suzu rolled her eyes and groaned. Eventually, the four of us just started to chat and talk about random events that happened to us. I decided not to speak about the boys and just focused on school. Truly, though, it was relaxing to feel somewhat human again, without thinking about incubi or anything of that sort. Simple, young adult problems were already enough for me to handle. We eventually lost track of time and wound up staying longer than we expected, making us unable to stop at the arcade before going home to dress for the housewarming party. Kay, as much as she wanted to come, had other plans, but wished us the best. Hour of the house party arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited like everyone that had existed. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I look so pretty in my dress. It's been pretty good.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
I know. Thank you for your condolences.
Do you have college plans?
There's a possibility.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
I don't know. I'll get back on track
What
soon.
do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
I love it.
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
Maybe. It's a possibility. Okay. Skip. I guess I'll place my hand in his. Ew. Kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited.
Whatever. Thank you.
You're welcome. Praise is very much.
I'm gonna stay put. Leave them alone! Oh gosh. So apparently you don't even get to click on anything for that one. I'm gonna explore the house. I'm going to be a genius again. Hey. Chicken and rice. I guess I'll just go to my room. I said against bothering them. They knew where the food was, so I went to my room instead and ate alone in my room. It's not my problem. I turned on my computer and started to jam to music as I ate my food. As I ate, I began to think about going out. There were so many places to go, things to do. The Pink Lady Cafe! Why can I go to Grandfather's grave? That's so weird. I arrived at the cafe ready to relax. I didn't want to be stuck at home on a Sunday. Besides, the cafe always had something new to drink, no matter how often you came. Why, does she have, like, experiments? I entered the double doors and looked around. Not many people were in, and Kay didn't seem to be working today. Oh well, she can't always be working. I made my way to the pastry bar and took a look at what the cafe had to offer that day. There was always something new no matter when you came, which is what kept a lot of people coming, myself included. As I browsed the delights, my mouth began to water. I had just eaten earlier, but the cafe's pastries always look good enough to tease your appetite back into a hungry state. Both the smell and the look of each dessert was carefully crafted to appease. You didn't regret buying one and biting into it. That is how I feel about all cake. I finally made a selection and headed to the cash register to purchase my treat.
What can I get for you?
Lily! Hi, I'll take a couple chocolate and raspberry macaroons and a pink lady latte, please.
Coming right up.
Lily was Kay's assistant, who mainly stuck to the cafe's finances and computer work. However, when Kay wasn't in, Lily took over to become the face behind the cash register who gave you what you needed. Lily, where's Kay?
Kay had to fly out to New York suddenly. She said it has something to do with delivering something special to someone. I'm not too clear on the details.
Okay, sounds like fun. Wish I could go to New York.
Don't we all? Here you are. Enjoy.
I took my order to a far corner table and got comfy. The Pink Lady Latte was a cafe special everyone adored. It was a normal latte with a very subtle raspberry flavor. The foam was pink, too. Is that even possible? Before I could indulge, however, a voice stopped me.
Oh, hey!
Naomi! I looked up to see Naomi enter the cafe with a familiar smile towards me. I smiled back, not expecting to see her. Hi, Naomi.
Mind if I join you?
Not at all. Naomi nodded before quickly getting herself a coffee cake slice and a latte and joining my table.
I've been wanting to try their latte for a while. Is it any good?
I like it. It has a nice raspberry flavor. Naomi gently blew over the latte to cool it before sipping it, smiling at the taste.
This does taste good. I'll have to get this from now on. The raspberry is a really nice compliment with the coffee.
I giggled. Naomi loved food when it wasn't made in the school cafeteria. She wanted to own a restaurant one day, but always focused studying the business side. Naomi has natural cooking skills that made grandmothers seem like novices at making you amazing food. I am jealous. You should get macaroons. Gary! The next time with it. The raspberry macaroons definitely bring out the flavor in the latte.
I should.
Naomi slowly grew a look of thought on her face as she stared into her latte, probably thinking about food again. It was during these moments that I got to see a simpler, almost beautiful side of Naomi. She was very smart, smarter than me. However, she always held seriousness very close to passion, dedicating her heart to her dream. It was enviable. I sipped my latte and ate a macaron before speaking and breaking her thoughts. Thanks, by the way, for coming to my impromptu party. I know it was last minute and all. Naomi broke away from looking at her drink to look up at me in surprise, then with a smile.
It was my pleasure, really. I mean, our pleasure. Suzu came too, and all.
Naomi blushed a bit before clearing her throat and taking a sip of her latte. She then looked at me again with a slight frown.
But hey, how are you holding up from that? I'm sure meeting all those business people was tiring.
It wasn't anything I couldn't handle. It was just the suddenness of it that tired me out.
Well, I'm sure you did great. It was a great party. The food was amazing.
It was amazing. I slowly began to remember the party, remembering how I felt alone throughout it. I wanted to be with my friends, but I had to put on my business hair to impress my guests and my father. Did I try too hard? It was supposed to be a simple party, but it just felt like a job interview. Before I got too deep into my thoughts, I felt a hand gently cover mine. I refocused my thoughts to reality, seeing Naomi gently holding my hand.
Hey, I know that look. You're about to overthink it. Don't. You did great. I'm sure of it.
Oh, thanks, Naomi. I stared at Naomi, unsurprised that she caught on to my thoughts, happy to know that she cared. Thanks, Naomi. Naomi smiled and blushed, giving a small nod. She was absolutely adorable when she smiled like that. I didn't know how, but her smile was able to make any room lighter. Naomi then pulled her hand away, placing it back on her latte with her other hand, cupping the mug, and sipped her drink. Naomi licked her lips and let out a sigh.
This is really nice. A relaxing Sunday afternoon at a cafe.
It's almost like a date. All of a sudden, Naomi's face turned pink as she looked at me. Confused, I tilted my head and gave her a quizzical look. See, she doesn't have a heart thing. Or maybe she does and I'm just doing all the wrong stuff. Naomi, are you alright? You're turning red. Naomi must have snapped out of her trance. She fanned herself and tried to calm down from whatever was on her mind.
No, I'm fine. Really. Just a little warm, that's all.
Naomi brought her latte up to her mouth and began to drink, practically chug it down. It was actually kind of cute how flustered she got from a simple statement. I giggled quietly to myself before sipping on my latte. Naomi and I eventually lost track of time and wound up chatting into the late afternoon. When the cafe wasn't hopping, Lily would join us and we'd talk about silly things like TV shows or movies.
Oh, wow! It's getting late. I gotta get home or my mom will flip.
Oh, okay.
Would you like a ride home?
Yeah. That would be great, thanks. We quickly headed out with Naomi driving me home. It was nice to be alone with her rather than have the explosive Suzu around. That's mean to say. I preferred Naomi's calm logic anyway. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. Felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I was perfectly energized and bright-eyed. La 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 la. How long has it been since I got that much good sleep? Skip. Get her! I'm gonna glare into her soul. Again. Wait. Fight! Am I gonna die? No way this was happening. No way was I gonna let myself be a victim of this. Gotta remember, what was in that book?
What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
kept grumbling, trying to remember and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something. Anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. I am magical! What the... At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? There's a purple orb! A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating, light purple orb. I stared at it as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling. For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content despite the situation I was in. My heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been. Grandfather? Is he like the misty ladies? What? As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather from the last time I saw him. I stared up at him, completely shocked that I was correct, that his form was standing in front of me.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes in acknowledgement before looking at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
That you handle demon magic?
Yes.
Why? What is there to gain from learning and using demon magic?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
You met the boys?
Yes. It was I who helped them come here. But it seems it was at the cost of my life.
Oh, what? Why? Why sacrifice yourself like that? None of this made sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. Where is my phone anyway? I needed answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone?
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learnt of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps. As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me. I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Why does Dad hate you so much? Why put that on me? Also, why are we having this whole conversation with Grandpa while someone's trying to eat my face?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all going so fast despite time not moving a single inch.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
So my grandfather met the incubi. It seemed so surreal I could hardly believe it, yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me. It was almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world.
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere and I helped them as they learned more about humans.
Is it just me or does he sound kind of young?
Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
So that's why they were in the house. But they said they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone.
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
Huh. If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Yes, Grandpa. Why not teach me when I visited?
You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Grandpa. What are you saying? I've barely begun reading it. I don't remember anything.
I will help you remember.
Then my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic, the demon world, and everything my grandfather had known. I looked up at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything and more as he smiled down at me.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow after, still unsure and lost as ever, but my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please. He didn't turn back and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember. I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from memory. Spiritus lumen defunitutum tuum.
What the? Latin?
Discedo! Boom! All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room and pushing the devils away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth!
Spiritus tenebrum periculum prohibere.
Come here!
Malix charged at me, dropping the gun that would never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head with my arms while a dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me.
How? You're just a human!
Oh, I'm never just a human. A human who knows how to fight back. 2 exclamation points. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress. I could fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands as I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me.
Malix!
No! Stay out of it! I'll kill this bitch with my own 2 hands, one way or another!
Can you just poof him? As commanded, Eris stood away from us with the other devils. The group watched us with intrigue as I stood up against their leader.
Oh, you must think you're some tough shit since you know some demon magic, huh? Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I could play this all day, and when you finally lose all your energy, your ass is grass.
I glared, knowing that what he said was true. I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last a while until someone found me or until I could overpower Malix somehow. Malix charged at me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out of my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly began shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. A terrible aim, only able to scratch the edges of his body, with 1 or 2 actually stabbing his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling them out and throwing them to the ground.
Quit playing around, Melix!
I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness running through my veins to consume both of my arms. I began to pant, desperate for some relief before continuing. Melix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love! Well, please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. What made everyone in that warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of police sirens coming to our location. Melix smirked even wider.
It's time to have fun, boys! Make sure you kill them all!
Oh, rude. Devils all seemed to get excited and started to walk past us to meet the cops, but a loud finger snap stopped them and made them turn around. Eris was with her hand in the air post-snap.
Eris? What are you doing?
Enough, Melix! We've wasted enough time in this stupid town. I'm getting out of here and I'm taking the rest with me.
Are they just going to give up? I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Melix got angry again.
Like hell you are! Boys, do as I say, or else!
No. None of the boys moved. Eris snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush past her and out another way from the warehouse.
Melix, it's over. You can't even beat a human girl. You're losing your powers. Lower devils only follow higher-ups that actually have power.
Shut your mouth!
Melix summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line and reappear by us. She shook her head, letting out a sigh before grabbing Melix by the neck and pulling him off of me. Melix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him.
All this for a bunch of pretty boys. You must be stupid and desperate.
Eris looked at me, making me tense up.
Human, I suggest heading home to your pretty boys. You don't want to get involved in a supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass.
She then turned back to Melix, glaring daggers into him as he glared back at her.
You really think women are weak? Let me fix that, sweetie.
It's kind of funny. I'm surprised she's not an option. And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Melix with her. As I was left alone, the police siren stopped. I look over to the open patch to see the incubi with a large police siren megaphone staring at me in surprise.
Where is he? I swear I'm gonna...
He's gone. Eris took him and left. They won't be coming back. It was all so surreal. I was helped by a devil, but I quickly shook off the feeling. I was alive, and that was all that mattered. I fought to stay alive, and there I was. The boys tried to question me, but James cleared his throat, catching the attention of his brothers and me.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
All together, we began to walk out of the warehouse and back home. There was no way in heck anyone was going to find out about this. It was over. Now I can skip again. Melix was gone and the boys were finally safe. Swoosh! Uh-oh, Diana. I guess I can forget them. They weren't heartless without reason. She could be reasoned with. She seemed like a businesswoman. Wait.
What? You're wasting my time.
What about a deal, huh? Diana raised an eyebrow. I was afraid she wasn't one to listen. What if she was as ruthless as I imagined her to be?
I'm listening.
Wait, really? Was she really willing to listen to me? She didn't drop me in the pit of death, but she didn't let me out of her spell. Now is a good time as any to try reason. These memories are precious to me, but they're not worth losing my life.
Of course.
I mean, if I die, people will wonder, and they'll try to find explanations to why I died or where I disappeared to.
Then just hand over your memories.
What if I traded them to you instead? You seem like a reasonable businesswoman. A trade is better than forcing me to give in, right? This is insane. I don't even know if she's willing to listen. She already had me hanging over a pit of death. The only thing I could hope for was her being forgiving enough to listen to reason.
Well, speak your terms. What do you want in exchange?
Let out a relieved sigh. She was willing to listen further. Well, what can you give me in return for them?
I'm a demon. I can give you anything within reason. Money, men, women, power. Name it. Just make it worth the price.
She could really get me anything? My mind began to wander. What did I want? Her? I heard Diana stifle a laugh.
Me? Are you serious? What do you mean, me?
I looked at Diana again. She was indeed scary, but she was gorgeous and somehow interested in me. More so than the boys. I mean, you staying here with me for a little while. I want to get to know you and these rules you're talking about.
A human wanting to know more about a demon and the rules. You're really trying to step over your place, especially if you'll be losing those memories in the end.
I'm serious. I'll give you my memories and energy if you stay for just a couple of days. A day, even. It'll be worth it.
Completely willingly?
Completely willingly.
And if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain?
Then you can feed me to your pit beast. Did that really slip out of my mouth? Was I wanting to put my life back on the line again? If it meant keeping my memories for a little longer, then yes. Diana looked to me, scanning my body with her eyes for any signs of false intent. I didn't have any, so Diana sighed and snapped her fingers again. The demon below me vanished, and I was slowly lowered to the ground. I looked to Diana in surprise.
You are very lucky demon magic is so finicky.
What do you mean?
Why do you think demons make deals with humans like you?
I wasn't sure. Demons were still new to me. I had heard stories of people making deals with demons and only ruin coming from it. Diana sighed.
It's one thing to take your memories or your energy. It's another for you to willingly give it. We get more for our effort if the one we make a deal with is willing.
Oh.
Think of it like sex. If I'm aroused and you're willing to open your legs for me, I'll get pleasure. I'll enjoy it. You might enjoy it. And it's done. But if you aren't willing and I force myself on you anyway, it's not so pleasurable for me. Even if I get what I want, it won't be as worth the effort.
Why are you trying to steal the boys to marry you, then? Strangely, it made sense. It was very much like a business. If I had what they want, they could negotiate for it. Or they could take it away anyway, but not without a fight. Were they all really business-oriented? My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what a deal I had made. So you'll stay for a couple of days.
A day is enough.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Dan looked at me up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it as she shrugged.
All right.
What? All right, we're going to leave it here, and my lesbian adventures will continue on the next episode. So I'll just do that in the fourth one. And I'll see you all soon. Let me know what you think.